What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Alicia, and in this video I am going to show you how I made this cup. And so, you know, in my last video I promised that I wasn't doing any more Halloween tumblers, but I saw this drip lip done by Taylor Duncan. I used one of his before in a video and I called it Miss Drippy Lips, but he made a vampire version and I had to do something with it. And also, really I was inspired by, let me go grab this, So I have an Ipsy subscription, so I get every month. And this was October. And I thought this was really cute. And then when I saw Taylor Duncan's design, I was like, I've got to do this. So I inspired by this. This is what I came up with. And I made the drips using fabric paint. So this is new for me. So if you're interested to see how I did this whole thing, stick around and you know what? Oh, before I get into it. So the focus really on this was the full vinyl wrap with these decals and the drips. So I left out the part where I prepped this cup. So I sanded it as I normally do. I spray painted it black. I applied the glitter, which is Prismatic black. It is a holographic black glitter using the tack-it method. And then I went over it with a coat of epoxy. And then so when I start this video, you're gonna see where I'm applying the decal. So if you're not sure how to do the tack-it method or how to prepare a cup, I will link them above and I will link them below. And so be sure to check those out. And then I'm gonna go into the rest of it. So if you're interested to see how I did most of this cup, stick around and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so I am using a 20-ounce Skinny Straight by Makerflow, and what I have done is I designed this on Cricut Design Space with the spots and the Pretty Wicket and the lips, and I'm going to show you after I'm done showing you how I applied these. I'm going to show you how I designed it. I don't normally do that, but I just want you to see how I came about this in case you're, want to do something similar. So what I'm doing here is I put my transfer tape on over the decal and I let it hang over about a ½ inch or so that I could use it like tape to tape it to the cup when I was lining it up. Because I'm going to apply this decal kind of like a full vinyl wrap. Now, I said earlier that I had sanded it, spray painted it, applied my glitter, the tack-it method, and did a coat of epoxy. This only needed one coat of epoxy to be smooth. You do want it to be smooth. You don't want to have it bumpy or any of your glitter sticking up. So make sure it's a smooth surface because it will show through the vinyl. All right, so I've gotten it around the cup. Just be slow with it, slow and steady, because you want to make sure that every piece gets down nicely without any bubbles. And then once you get to the end, don't press it all the way down. I measured a little bit too long, so I have to cut off some of these, the last row of spots, because they're going to overlap and I don't want them to overlap. So I'm taking my ridiculously big scissors. I should have used smaller scissors, but I had these big ones that were close, and I start cutting around the ones that are going to overlap. And I get one little section off, and then there's another one, and I'm going to cut that off. And then once I cut that off, I'm going to start peeling my transfer tape off from the end that I started with. So just pull it back and gently pull. Make sure you are not pulling too fast and not pulling upwards, but kind of pulling when you pull your transfer tape just like on an angle. It's kind of hard, if that makes any sense. So get that off. Make sure all your vinyl is adhered to the cup really well, which this is permanent vinyl, so it's stuck really nicely. And I'm going to get that off, and for my bare spot, I'm going to hand place the row of spots that I cut off so that they fit in the spots nicely and they flow. Once I'm done applying these spots, it's going to be ready for a coat of polycrylic. I'm going to go ahead and seal these with polycrylic because they are shiny and I don't want my epoxy to repel. And then I'm going to put one coat of epoxy on there. Shouldn't need more than one, but if there's any pokies or it doesn't, you know, it's not smooth, then I'm going to put two on there. But I'm thinking one should do the trick. And then with that, I will be ready to do my drips and apply my other decals and my lip water slide. Okay, so I use Cricut Design Space, and so I'm going to pull in my images. So this is what the original image looked like, and this is the way Taylor Duncan designed it. But I wanted a solid black lip, so I actually took this image, put it in a paint, and filled everything in and made it solid black. So I'm going to pull that image in, and I'm going to pull in my leopard print, which you can find leopard print anywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and resize this leopard print for a width of 9.5 because I'm using a 20-ounce skinny straight, and with epoxy and glitter, it's usually about 9.5, which is probably a little bit less because the glitter wasn't fluffy, it was tacked down. So that's why I came up a little bit long. And so I am going to size this image to 4 inches wide. I'm going to move this over, and I'm just going to change this color really quick. And I'm going to unlock the image so that I can size it to a height of 8 inches. And so now I'm gonna type in my Pretty Wicked in capital letters. And I'm gonna change the font to, it's a vampire font, something vampire, let's see, V-A-M-P. That I got from either 1001 Fonts or I got it from DeFont. I'm not sure. I don't really remember which one it was. And so I'm going to ungroup this, and I want to bring this down just a little bit closer. All right. And I'm going to bring these together. I'm going to weld them. Now I'm going to offset. And I'm going to offset both images by 0.05. And it's being really temperamental right now. All right, let's see if it'll do it now. 0.05. Apply. Okay, so I'm going to do this the same, the 0. I didn't want 9, well, yeah, actually I do want it wider for this one. I didn't want it as wide. I did, so for purposes of saving time, I did 0.05, so it was just, you know, a little bit of an offset. For this one though, I'm going to double this one up, and I am going to do it bigger because I do want some room around. All right, so this offset, I'm actually going to offset this again. Let me change this color to green because I want room around the actual offset. So I'm gonna offset this now, and that's what I'm going to use when I go and I cut, when I slice it out. So with this one, I'm going to create a shape. Oops, just one shape. And I didn't size these down. I need this to be 4. So that's, I did 4.25. Let's see if it lines up now. All right, there we go. So I'm going to size this I don't want it to be too much bigger, but I want there to be space. So that looks good. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that in there. And I am going to select all of these. I'm going to align there. Now I'm going to pull out, because it won't let you slice all of this. Or maybe it will. Let's see. I did it one at a time. Let's see if it worked. All right, so it sliced out this one, which is good. So now I'm going to bring this back in and I am going to realign. Sorry, where's my align? No, that's too big. There we go. So center horizontally, that's where I want it to be. So now I am going to slice this out. All right, now I'm going to move this in, and so you'll see there's an outline, which is what I wanted, and the Pretty Wicked is here, and I'm going to change that color. I'm going to make sure these guys are centered again. I'm going to align them again. Everything looks good. Now I am going to weld this, and these two I can just put, you know, move forward. Just, you know, to take a peek and see how it looks. You do that and then put your lips, move this one forward, center front, and there you go. So that's how I came up with this design. Sorry guys, it took a little bit and it took me even longer to actually design this, but that's how you do this design. So let's move on. All right, so this took one coat of epoxy. I did use a quick set epoxy or a fast set epoxy. You can use regular, fast set, whatever it is that you want. And so I printed out or cut out my Pretty Wicked in black, and I'm just lining that up and laying that on top and pressing that down and applying it as you would apply any other decal. And once I get that peeled off, then I am going to go and do my drip lip, my vampire drip lip, which is I printed on clear Waterslide. I used Hippo brand Waterslide. I am promoting them right now. It is, as of this recording, it is October 27th, and I only have a couple of days left for a 30% off discount. So if you're seeing this in time, get yourself ordered up, get yourself stocked up. It's 30% off of it. Really great Waterslide. I have no issues with it. I only spray the back of it and then I pull it off. I don't need to soak it in water. And my water is just room temperature. So I'm applying this. Now, I do not mirror my images. I tried mirroring them for ease of applying them, but I felt like they were not sticking to my cup very well. And the reason why I felt this, and hear me out, hear my logic. So the back of the Waterslide has like a slight, it feels like to me, and I don't know if this is fact, and I'm not claiming it fact, it feels like it's slightly sticky on the back. So when it dries, it adheres to your surface. But if you're applying it mirrored, then you're really basically applying the spray painted side. So I stopped mirroring my images and just keep practicing with doing it with this, and I've had very little issues. And this is the way I am doing it. No more mirroring for me because I just feel like they weren't sticking to my cup. All right, once my Waterslide is on and in place, I press out all the water with a paper towel. So I get all the excess water off, and then I pat it and smooth it out with the paper towel. And when that excess water comes out from underneath, it just absorbs with the paper towel. So I am going to make sure that's good, and then I'm going to let this dry for at least an hour before I'm ready to put epoxy on. And before I put my coat of epoxy on, I am going to put a coat of polycrylic on it. And the reason why I'm putting polycrylic on it is because this vinyl is kind of slick and I don't want the epoxy to repel. So, you know, I don't know if it will for sure, but I don't want to take that chance. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a coat of polycrylic and then let this dry for about a half an hour to an hour. And then I'll be ready to put on my, or another coat of epoxy. All right, this cup's been drying for about an hour and it's ready for a first coat of epoxy, or actually I'm just going to put one coat of epoxy on here. And so normally I use a quick set epoxy. If it's going to go overnight, then I'll use my regular epoxy. But if I have, you know, if I'm going to have enough time, I'll do a quick set. So it's, you know, it's up to you what you want to do. You can do a quick set epoxy for this coat, or you can do your regular. It's completely up to you. There's no right or wrong with this. So I get that on. I used about 20 mLs. I didn't use a whole lot. I didn't want to flood it out, and just smoothing it out as I normally do. And then just make sure you torch for bubbles because you do want it smooth and you want to minimize any sanding that you may have to do before we're ready to apply our drips. So here I go with my kitchen torch. Give it a nice torch, and we'll let this spin for however long we have to have it spin, and then I'll be back with the next step. All right, so I am all cleaned up, and let's do this again. So I decided this time I'm going to go with Opalescent, and this is a holographic silver. So I think this is going to work because I think I want it to lean towards, you know, like silvery. So let's try this. So, all right, here we go again. I'm going to go around here, not too much. Right, because I don't want it covering my letters. Alright. Trying to, this is where I should probably be angling you guys down, but if I angle you down, then you can't see. Oh, too much there. Let's bring this over this way. All right. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. Backside needs some more. So I think the key here is to make sure you get as much as you want on it. There we go. So I just tapped the one side of the bottom and not the other, like not full down, but like this to get it to do this side. And so it didn't really do this side a whole lot. All right, I like it. I like it. I think I do want to bring this one drip up a little bit on the P. It's kind of covering the P a little too much, so I'm going to grab a Q-tip. And I'm going to just bring this up. Kind of shape it while I'm doing it. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing. All right, I think that's good. All right, now I'm gonna do silver glitter. Let's see how this looks. You know, the one good thing about this is that if you don't like the glitter, you can just wipe it off and start all over. So let's see how the silver does. The silver opalescent is so pretty, and when you do the tack it with this, it's absolutely gorgeous. This is such a cool way to do drips. You know, I would have never thought of this on my own. So yeah, this is not an original thought. So I'm actually gonna tap it upside down because I don't want the drips to come down anymore. Just lightly tapping it. All right, so I definitely like the silver better, and there is a lot sticking to the cup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually let this dry, and then I'm gonna come in with a dry brush and get all that excess off. Let me see if I can just kind of get some of it off right now, just so we can kind of get an idea of what it looks like more. Because I don't want to move any of these drips. Yes, I just hit my brush and it's like, it's very, very wet. So we're just gonna have to wait until this is dry before I brush this off, because this glitter is like sticking. Really super sticky. But I do like the silver, so keeper for the silver. All right, guys, I'm gonna be back later. I'll be back after work. And this should be dry, and then we'll wipe the rest of this off. All right. All right, guys, so this is dry, and I've been cleaning for the last few minutes. I've been cleaning off the excess glitter because if you remember, there was a whole lot up in here, and it was stuck, and I didn't want to mess with it because this was still wet. So I've just been brushing it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to seal it with some triple thick Krylon triple thick spray. Just getting the rest of this off because I don't want this to travel down the rest of the cup, although some is going to be on there, and I'm okay with that. I like a little bit of extra sparkle. So I am going to take this outside, spray it with the triple thick, and then I'm going to let that dry and put it on my turner and give it a coat of epoxy, and this cup will be done. All right, guys, see you in a bit. All right, my triple thick is dry, and I am putting on my last coat of epoxy, and so it only needed one more coat. And I'm going to go over the entire cup with it, including the drips, with my food safe epoxy. So there's no issues if somebody decides to drink directly from this cup. And once I'm done applying it, so actually what I'm doing is I'm applying it on the bottom portion first, and then after I got that, then I go in with the glitter just to make sure if there's any stragglers that I'm not pulling it down on the rest of my cup. So I do the bottom first, and then I go up and do my drips. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to give it a torch with my kitchen torch. I'm using my regular set epoxy on this, and this cup will be done, and I'll be back with my final remarks. All right, folks, it's done. She looks beautiful. I love this. Thank you, Taylor Duncan, for your drip lip design and this, you know, in the vampire. So you've expanded. I appreciate your design, and I am using it. I love this cup. You know, I had some issues with the drip at first, like, so I used the fabric glue, and I put a different glitter on there, and although I love the glitter, I did not like the way it looked on this, so I wound up wiping it off and starting all over, and I decided to go with the holographic silver, and so I'm so glad I did. This cup is awesome. I'm just saying, it's awesome. So all right, guys, you know, always thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification button so that you see every time I upload a video, which is every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. I try to fit other ones in whenever I can. I've really just been once a week for right now, but Make sure you check the description down below for links to products I used or where you can find the products. And that is it for now. See y'all next time. Bye.